Hello, in this video I'll show you 3 Linux terminal tips that I found useful. So here's the first one. Let's say you're typing a long command. So for example, git push -u, and then at this point you realize that you had to run a few other commands beforehand. For example, you needed to add the files and then run git commit. So what you would do in this case is first option being to delete everything by hand and then run git add and git commit. This works, but after running git commit you would have to start over from scratch and type git push -u, which can be tedious. Of course, you might just as you're typing git push, you might just select everything and copy it and then run ctrl-c to cancel it and then run git add and git commit, right? And then once you do that, you can right click and paste it again and resume what you were typing in the first place. Again, this works, but there's a faster alternative, and that's what I'm about to show you. So you can use the ctrl-u shortcut to delete everything you were typing. So if I click ctrl-u, it deletes everything, and now I can run git add, git commit. Now I can run ctrl-y to paste the command I had deleted beforehand and continue where I left off. So for example, with git push -u origin, I can't type faster or something like that. Now the one thing you should know is that what I just did with ctrl-u puts the command I was typing in a special clipboard, and I looked into it and turns out this is called a kill ring. So it turns out that this is actually terminology from the Emacs editor, and so I realized that a lot of the Emacs shortcuts can be applied to the Linux terminal. So for example, if you're typing something like this, you can delete individual words with ctrl-u, ctrl-w, and you can again paste them with ctrl-y. And there are a lot of similar shortcuts that you can find by searching for this specifically. Right, the second command or the second trick is, let's say you're typing a complicated command that, for example here, let's say you are typing something like well, not git, but maybe a more complicated command, and this is one I just pulled from my own history. And let's say that maybe I messed up this part and I had to change it to maybe 25 or something like that. So I can do this manually, maybe by using the arrow keys, which takes time, or maybe I can use the home button, the home key, to go back to the start of the command and then navigate to this part. And a more effective way to handle these types of situations, especially if the command at hand is spanning across multiple lines, is to use ctrl-x and ctrl-e. And what this does is it opens the command in an editor, in my case Vim, but I think you can configure this to use something like Nano or maybe even Emacs. And with this you can change this part, whatever part you had in mind. For example, here I can replace it with 5 and then save and quit, and as you can see here, the change is reflected. So that was the second tip, and the third tip is, let's say for example that I had an editor open here, right? So let's say I was modifying this file with garbage, and I realized that I need to commit this garbage. So one thing I can do here is again save and quit, and then git add, and then git commit. But then I have to go back to the file to write some more code, right? So this is a scenario I run into often, especially at work. And in this case it's simple enough, it works, but sometimes you might have multiple tabs open, and you would have to close everything, right, and then run the command and then go back and then open again everything again, which can be tedious. Or was it bar? Right. So one way to optimize this is, instead of closing everything, you can run ctrl-z, and as you can see here it says that Vim is suspended. Now I can git add and git commit or something, and to go back to Vim in the way that I left it, I can run fg or foreground, and this brings back to the foreground. So this way you can avoid having to close everything before running whatever command you had in mind. So those were the 3 tips I had in mind for this video. If I think of something else, I'll add more videos, and of course don't hesitate to leave your own tips in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I hope I'll see you next time.